The call from the emergency vet came at 3 a.m. Ms. Anderson, you need to come immediately. All three of your cats are showing signs of sedative poisoning. I bolted upright, heart hammering. By the time I reached the clinic, my hands were trembling on the steering wheel. Just hours ago, Luna, Atlas, and Nova, my beloved Persians, my champions, had been perfectly fine. I placed them in their carriers, ready for the biggest competition of the year, the National Cat Show Championship. Then I found them, lethargic, barely responsive. Dr. Martinez met me in the exam room, grim-faced. They were given a significant dose of sleeping pills, she said, holding up the blood work results. If you hadn't brought them in when you did. She let the words hang in the air, unfinished. I swallowed hard, but my fury burned hotter than my fear. I already knew who was responsible. Diana. My mother-in-law had been the only other person near my cats that evening, insisting on helping with their pre-show grooming. My Sarah's cats deserve that trophy, she'd said earlier that week, her voice dripping with disdain. Your precious purebreds shouldn't overshadow her hard work. Sarah, my sister-in-law, had only recently stepped into the cat show circuit. I'd spent years building my reputation, training, breeding, winning. Sarah wanted instant success, and Diana couldn't stand that her daughter wasn't the one in the spotlight. The signs had been there. Diana's sharp remarks about my obsession with cat shows, her unwavering praise of Sarah's less experienced handling, the way she lingered near the cat's food bowls that evening. Dr. Martinez sighed. We've stabilized them, but they won't be in any condition to compete tomorrow. The sedatives need time to clear their system. I stared at my cats, Luna's pristine white coat now tangled and matted from emergency treatment. Atlas and Nova, my stunning silver pair, breathing in slow, uneven rhythms. This wasn't just a competition anymore. This was about justice. My phone buzzed. Diana, probably expecting me to withdraw. Instead, I took photos of my cat's condition and called the show committee. Then, I opened my security app. Because what Diana didn't know was that I had cameras in my cat room. Minutes later, I watched the footage with Jack, my husband, as he stood in the clinic, his face pale. The screen showed his mother, calmly crushing pills and mixing them into my cat's food. His throat tightened. She wouldn't, but the proof was undeniable. I'm reporting this to the authorities, I said coldly. Your mother could have killed them. For years, Jack had defended Diana's competitive spirit. But now, watching her commit outright animal cruelty, the illusion shattered. As dawn broke over the clinic, I knew the championship would go on without me. But Diana's desperate attempt to eliminate the competition would cost her far more than a trophy. She thought she was securing Sarah's victory. Instead, she'd secured her own downfall. And I would make damn sure she never had the chance to hurt another animal again. This was just the beginning. The morning of the National Cat Show buzzed with excitement. Blow dryers whirring, voices chattering, the scent of grooming products thick in the air. But I wasn't here to compete. My champions lay recovering at the vet, while I walked into the exhibition hall with an evidence folder in hand. Amanda, where are your cats? Sarah appeared, her ragdolls perfectly prepped in their carriers. Mom said you might not make it. Her smile was carefully measured, but I saw the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Ask your mother why, I said coldly, not stopping as I made my way to the show committee's office. I barely registered Sarah's confused protest before the door shut behind me. Inside, the committee members were gathered, finalizing preparations for the day's events. Margaret Chin, the head judge, looked up. Amanda, we received your call about withdrawing, but I set the folder down. My cats are in the emergency vet recovering from sedative poisoning. I have security footage of who did it. Silence fell as I opened my tablet and pressed play. The video was damning, Diana, clear as day, crushing pills into my cat's food, a smirk on her face as she watched them eat. I filed a police report. I continued, voice steady. But the committee needs to see this. This isn't just about my cats. If she's willing to do this. Margaret's expression darkened. Where is Diana now? Probably helping Sarah prepare. She expected me to step aside quietly. Right on cue, Diana's voice rang through the hallway. Amanda, there you are. Such a shame about your cats being under the weather. She stepped into the office, her confident stride faltering the moment she saw the footage playing behind me. Under the weather, I turned, ice in my voice. You poisoned them. You could have killed them. Diana's smile stiffened. Don't be so dramatic. I only wanted to level the playing field. Your cats always win. It's not fair to Sarah. Not fair. My control snapped. I've spent years training and breeding my cats. Sarah has been competing for 6 months, and you think attempted animal cruelty is the answer. Cruelty. Sarah's voice came from behind her mother, unsteady. She stepped into the room, staring at the footage still playing on the screen. Mom, what did you do? Diana shifted, as if searching for a plausible excuse, but the proof was undeniable. They're just cats, she muttered. I didn't use enough to really hurt them. Mrs. Miller, Margaret cut in sharply, effective immediately. You are banned from all sanctioned cat shows. This footage is being forwarded to the police and animal welfare authorities. Diana paled. You can't do this to me. I was only thinking of Sarah. Sarah's breath hitched. No, Mom, you were thinking of yourself. You always do. She turned to me, tears brimming in her eyes. Amanda, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Security arrived to escort Diana out as she sputtered protests, but it was over. I turned to see Jack watching from the hallway, his face unreadable. The police are waiting outside, he said quietly. I called them myself after seeing the footage. His voice wavered. How are our cats? Our cats, not your cats. For the first time since this nightmare began, the tightness in my chest loosened. They're stable, I whispered. Dr. Martinez says they can come home tonight. Sarah wiped her eyes. I can't compete today. Not after this. I never wanted to win like this. Margaret nodded. Given the circumstances, we're postponing the Persian class until next month's show. Amanda, we hope your cats will be ready by then. As the committee dispersed and the show carried on without me, I checked my phone. Updates from the vet. My cats were improving, becoming more alert. They would be okay. Jack sat beside me, rubbing his face. I should have seen this coming. Mom's always been competitive, but this? He exhaled shakily. I never thought she'd go this far. She didn't think she'd get caught, I murmured. She's probably done things like this before, just without security cameras catching her. Sarah returned, her ragdolls already packed up to leave. She hesitated. I want you to know, I'm stepping away from showing. At least for now. I need to learn properly what Mom did. That's not who I want to be. I nodded, accepting the words. As I stepped outside, I spotted Diana being placed into a police car, her carefully crafted image in ruins. She met my gaze with pure venom, but it didn't matter. She had no power anymore. The next few hours blurred into police statements and paperwork. By evening, I was finally back at the vet clinic, preparing to take my cats home. They were weak but alive, their beautiful coats a mess, but their spirits intact. As I placed them gently into their carriers, I knew the road to the next show would be long. But we would recover. We would return stronger. Diana had tried to destroy everything I'd built. Instead, she had destroyed herself. And in doing so, she had freed her own children from her toxic shadow. Sometimes, losing a competition reveals the real champions, not just in the show ring, but in life. The fallout from Diana's actions rippled through our lives in ways none of us could have predicted. 3 months after the incident, I sat in a cat room, watching Luna, Atlas, and Nova bat at their new toys. They had made a full recovery, though the road back hadn't been easy. Diana's trial had been swift. The evidence was irrefutable, and her courtroom outbursts only sealed her fate. They're just animals, she had shouted, exposing her true nature for all to see. The judge, a known animal advocate, showed no mercy. 2 years probation, heavy fines, and a lifetime ban from owning pets. But the real changes weren't in her sentencing. They were in our family. Jack had finally broken free from his mother's manipulation. One evening, as he stroked Luna's now lustrous coat, he murmured, I keep thinking about all the times she must have done things like this. All those accidents and coincidences that always worked in her favor. Sarah surprised us all. Instead of walking away from the cat show world in shame, she came to me a month after the incident. Would you teach me? She had asked hesitantly. Properly from the beginning. I want to earn my place here. Now, as I watched her gently groom her ragdoll under my supervision, I saw real potential. She had patience, care, and a willingness to learn. the very qualities Diana had tried to crush in her relentless push for instant success. The cat show community stood by us. Margaret Chen made sure everyone knew what had happened, not to humiliate Sarah, but to ensure Diana never wormed her way back into another show under false pretenses. The cat fancy is a family, Margaret had said, but we don't protect those who poison it. When my cats finally returned to competition, the moment was triumphant. At the rescheduled show, Luna took Best in Show, with Atlas and Nova earning high placements. The victory was made sweeter by the fact that we had earned it honestly, through resilience, not sabotage. Diana made one attempt at contact, a tearful letter filled with appeals to family loyalty and forgiveness. "I only wanted what was best for Sarah," she wrote. "You've destroyed our family over some cats." Jack sent back a single reply, a photo. Our cats, their ribbons gleaming, Sarah standing proudly beside me as my apprentice. No words were needed. Diana hadn't destroyed our family. She had simply forced us to rebuild it without her. The security cameras stayed up, but now they captured something different. Sarah's first successful show grooming, Jack learning how to help with the cat's care. The day we brought home our rescue Persian in need of rehabilitation, a project we tackled together. "You've built something beautiful here," Sarah told me recently, watching the cats bask in the sunlight. "Not just the wins, but the way you care for them. I never understood before why you were so dedicated." She was right. The cat show world had given me more than trophies. It had revealed the people I could trust, the ones I needed to keep at a distance, and the true meaning of resilience. Diana had tried to destroy what I loved, but all she had done was expose the rot she had long hidden. She lost everything: her standing in the community, her control over her family, and the ability to manipulate from the shadows. 1 year after that night, we hosted a small celebration. Luna, Atlas, and Nova had all qualified for the International Championship. Sarah's first solo-shown cat had placed in its category. Jack had become a familiar face at shows, known for his gentle handling of nervous felines. Looking around at our new, stronger family, I realized Diana had given us an unexpected gift. In trying to tear us apart, she had helped us build something stronger, something she could never comprehend. The security footage of that night remained saved on my computer, a reminder that sometimes the worst actions bring out the best in others. Diana had tried to poison my champions, but she had only proven who the real champions were, not just in the show ring, but in life. As Luna batted at her favorite toy, her coat gleaming in the sunlight, I knew we had won something far greater than any trophy. We had won our freedom, our integrity, and our peace of mind. And that was a victory Diana could never take from us. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't about getting even, it's about getting better.